Hey everyone, welcome back to English with Confidence, the podcast where we have real, natural conversations to help you learn English the way it's actually spoken. I'm Pedro.
And I'm Gabby. So happy you're here with us today. Seriously, whether you're listening on your commute, doing the dishes, or just taking a little break, we're glad you're here.
Today we are talking about something that pretty much everyone struggles with, motivation. Like, how do you actually stay motivated in this crazy, fast-paced world we're all living in right now?
Right, and it's not easy. I feel like the world is moving so fast. There's always a new notification, a new trend, a new thing you're apparently supposed to be doing with your life.
Exactly, and it can be really overwhelming. Like, you start the week feeling pumped, totally ready to go, and then by Wednesday, you're just like, what even is my life?
Ha! I have had so many of those Wednesdays. So many. Okay, so let's actually dig into this. Why is it so hard to stay motivated these days specifically? Because I genuinely think it's harder now than it used to be.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest reasons is distraction. Our phones are in our hands literally all day long, and every single app is designed, like professionally engineered, to pull your attention away from what you're actually trying to do. So even if you sit down with great intentions, like, okay, today I'm going to work on my goal, your phone buzzes, you check it, and suddenly 30 minutes have just vanished.
Gone. Just gone. And I think there's also this thing where we're constantly seeing everyone's highlight reel on social media, right? And it makes you feel like everyone else has figured it out and you're still trying to get out of bed in the morning. Exactly. So what do we do about it? Where do we even start?
Okay, so I think the first thing, and honestly the most important thing, is finding your why, your deeper purpose, the real reason behind what you're trying to do. So it's not enough to just say, I want to get fit, or I want to learn English. Those are goals, sure, but they're kind of surface level. The why is what's underneath. Why does it matter to you personally, like really deeply? Exactly. For me, my big why is my family. I have 2 kids, and watching them grow up is the biggest motivator I've ever had. I want to be a good example for them. I want them to see that their dad works hard, stays consistent, and keeps his word to himself and to others.
That's really beautiful. And I think when your why is connected to something emotional, your kids, your partner, your parents, it has so much more staying power than just wanting to achieve something for achievement's sake.
Totally. Because when you hit a rough patch and you want to quit, you think of them, and it kind of recharges you. Like, okay, this is bigger than just me. Right. It takes some real honest reflection. Okay, so let's say you've got your why. Now what? Because I think a lot of people have a great big goal and then they just freeze.
They freeze because the goal feels too massive. And this is exactly where small, achievable goals become so important. Like, stop trying to eat the whole elephant in one bite.
Ha, good expression. If you want to run a marathon, you don't wake up and run a marathon. You run 5 minutes, then 10, then a kilometer. Each small win is a step, and the steps add up.
And this connects to something I feel really strongly about, actually celebrating those small wins, not just checking a box and immediately moving on to the next thing.
Oh, I am so guilty of this. I achieve something, and immediately my brain is like, okay, great, what's next?
Same, but when you actually pause and acknowledge a win, even just telling yourself, good job, I did that, it gives your brain a little hit of motivation to keep going. It builds momentum.
It's like each small win is fuel for the next one, and it makes the whole journey feel less like a long, miserable grind and more like, hey, I'm actually getting somewhere.
Exactly. Okay, another big one, the people you surround yourself with. Pedro, I know you feel strongly about this one.
Hugely. I genuinely believe that motivation is kind of contagious. If you spend most of your time with people who are driven, who are working toward things, who talk about ideas and growth, you start thinking the same way. You absorb the energy around you. And the reverse is also true. If you're mostly around people who are constantly negative, always complaining, always explaining why something won't work, that brings you down too, even if you're naturally a positive person.
And I want to be clear, it's not about cutting off anyone who's going through a hard time. It's about being intentional with your energy. Just ask yourself, who am I spending most of my time with, and how do I feel after?
Exactly. Energy is a resource, and it's worth protecting. Okay, so we touched on this earlier, but let's go back to the social media comparison trap for a second, because I think it deserves its own moment.
Yes, it really does. Look, social media is amazing for so many things, connecting, learning, getting inspired, but it can also be a motivation killer if you're not careful about how you use it. Right, and that comparison is just not fair to you. I think one really practical thing is to ask yourself, am I using this to get inspired, or am I using it to check what everyone else is doing? That's a big difference.
Intentional use versus mindless scrolling. And honestly, sometimes the most motivated you'll ever feel is when you just put the phone down and do the work.
Okay, that's real. All right, let's talk about habit stacking, because I think this is one of the most practical, underrated strategies for staying motivated consistently.
Okay, yes, and let's explain this term for our listeners who might not know it. Habit stacking is when you attach a new habit you want to build onto an existing one you already do automatically. So for example, if you already make coffee every morning, you could stack 5 minutes of journaling onto that. Coffee's brewing, you journal. Every single day. Exactly. And you stop relying on motivation to make it happen. It just becomes part of the flow. Do you have an example of this from your own life?
Yeah, I always work out right after I drop my daughter off at school. That transition happens every single day, so my brain has basically already scheduled the workout. I don't even have to think about it. It's just what happens next.
That's perfect. And that's kind of the whole goal, isn't it? You don't want to have to fight yourself every single day. You want to set up systems that make the behavior easier to do than not to do. Make it the path of least resistance. Totally. Rest isn't the opposite of productivity, it's actually a part of it. Your brain and your body need recovery time to actually perform well. It's like you wouldn't drive a car with no fuel and then wonder why it stops moving.
Exactly. And I think self-care gets a bad reputation sometimes because it sounds a bit fluffy. But really, it's just, are you sleeping enough? Are you moving your body? Are you eating? Are you taking time to do things that make you feel like a human being?
Ha, feel like a human being. I love that. Because when you're burned out, you genuinely don't. So taking care of yourself isn't selfish. It's how you stay in the game long term.
Perfectly said. Okay, let's bring it home. Quick, practical takeaways for our listeners. Pedro, you want to kick us off?
Let's do it. Okay, number 1, find your why. Spend some real time thinking about why your goal actually matters to you. Not just on the surface, the real emotional reason underneath it.
Number 2, break your goals down. If something feels overwhelming, it's probably because it's too big. Find the smallest possible first step and just do that one thing.
Celebrate your wins, even the tiny ones. Tell yourself you did a good job. It sounds simple, but it genuinely makes a difference.
Number 4, be intentional with who you spend time with. Last big topic, and I think this one gets overlooked a lot. Rest and self-care as part of staying motivated.
Number 5.
Oh, this is
use
so
social
important.
media
And I think there's
consciously.
this culture,
Don't let the
especially
comparison
online,
game
that
steal
tells you
your
motivation
confidence or your
means
focus.
hustling 24/7.
Everyone is
never
on their own
slowing down.
timeline,
Sleep is for the
including
weak,
you.
that kind of thing.
Number 6, try habit
The
stacking.
grind culture thing,
Attach new
and it is
habits to
just
things you
not
already do
sustainable.
every day.
I learned this the
Make
hard
it
way.
easy for
I had a
yourself
period
instead
And
of
number
relying
7,
on
please
willpower.
rest.
Barely
Take care of
sleeping,
yourself.
skipping meals,
Motivation does
never
not
taking a real
survive
day
burnout.
off, and I
Rest is
completely
not a
burned
reward
out.
you earn. It's part of the process.
Such a good list. You don't have to do all 7 at once. Pick 1 or 2 that really resonated with you. Start there and build from it.
The biggest thing I want our listeners to take away is that motivation isn't something you either have or you don't. It's something you build and maintain, kind of like a muscle. You have to work it consistently.
Yes, and it takes practice. It takes self-awareness, and it takes some grace with yourself when things don't go perfectly, because they won't always, and that's completely okay.
And if you're an English learner listening to this right now, the fact that you're here, listening to a podcast in English, working on yourself, that is already motivation in action. Don't take that lightly.
We mean that. We are genuinely rooting for you, every single one of you. Thank you so much for spending this time with us on English with Confidence. If this episode helped you, share it with a friend who could use a little boost today.
And until next time, stay curious, stay confident, and keep going. You've got this. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.